Welcome to the Lions Fan Show, post-game edition on Thanksgiving on My Michigan TV. I'm Tyler Keefe alongside Matt Catoni. We're live at the Detroit Sports Bar and Grill in downtown Detroit, just a couple blocks away from where the Detroit Lions disappointed their entire family here in the Detroit area and across the nation on national TV. A 29-22 loss to the Green Bay Packers. Doesn't look so bad on paper with the late-game heroics from Josh Reynolds and company, but all in all, Matt, it was not a good performance by any stretch for the Lions in any of the three phases of this football game.
Yeah, really, they failed at the most important aspect of the game, and that is protecting the football and limiting turnovers, specifically Jared Goff. The number one person who has to protect the football at the end of the day is the quarterback, and ultimately Jared Goff failed with the second consecutive game turning the ball over 3 times, which is just absolutely unacceptable. And really, this was the worst 2-game stretch I've seen from him, frankly, since 2019.
Yeah, and it's one thing to turn the ball over. It's one thing to struggle throwing the football, but to do that multiple weeks in a row, that's not the kind of thing you chalk up to 3 games in a matter of a short span of time. That's more of a decision-making issue that certainly came into play today. Some errant throws, some lack of protection of the football. You think about that second fumble earlier on in the game when he's rushing forward away from the attack. But you also got to give credit where credit's due. Rashawn Gary and that defensive front for Green Bay was potent today attacking the quarterback.
Yeah, really, the offensive line failed to protect Goff as he needed today. Ultimately, Goff still needs to play better if he wants to be a franchise quarterback. But really, Rashawn Gary was tremendous today. A homecoming game for him and Jalen Reed of Michigan State. Both of them flashed tremendously today, and really, you got to give props where props are due.
Yeah, Rashawn Gary, 5 tackles for the Green Bay Packers today, including 3 of those being sacks on Jared Goff. The protection simply was not there for the Lions. With an offensive line that's mostly healthy, although they were missing their starting left guard, Jonah Jackson, for the second consecutive week.
Yeah, really, they've kind of gotten used to not having Jonah Jackson in here these past few weeks. There should be enough chemistry there to where this performance is just unacceptable from the offensive line. They have to be better as a unit, specifically Taylor Decker, who was just absolutely terrorized by Rashawn Gary today.
Yeah, no Lions will be receiving turkey legs today from the team at Fox, from the broadcast team on this Thanksgiving Day. And frankly, they'll be lucky if they get leftovers when they get home after that performance at Ford Field today. It's the Lions Fan Show. We're at the Detroit Sports Bar and Grill in downtown Detroit, live on MyMichiganTV.com, as well as on the free apps for your smartphones and your smart TVs, whether you're using Apple, Roku TV, you're in the Google Play Store, wherever you get your apps, to search My Michigan TV. You can download it for free, you can watch for free, and you can even see on demand for free as well. More information on MyMichiganTV.com. It's the Lions Fan Show. This is all about your thoughts on the Detroit Lions. We'll get to your thoughts coming up in just a little bit. Stay with us. The My Michigan TV Lions Fan Show will continue after this short break.
The Detroit Sports Bar and Grill in downtown Detroit is your go-to spot before, during, and after Detroit Lions, Red Wings, Pistons, and Tiger games. The Detroit Sports Bar, downtown on Woodward at Grand Circus Park, a short walk to the stadiums in the heart of the city. At the Detroit Sports Bar, it's always happy hour with specials always running. On game day, come and get a drink. Then head to your event with the Detroit Sports Bar, carry out cocktails and drinks. On Lion Game Day, stop in early for our live fan broadcast on My Michigan TV, YouTube, Facebook, and more. The Detroit Sports Bar, downtown Detroit. The Detroit Sports Bar, where you'll have a big time and never pay a big price. More at thedetroitsportsbar.com.
Hi, and welcome back to the My Michigan TV Detroit Lions Fan Show here at the Detroit Sports Bar and Grill down in downtown Detroit, Michigan. I'm here now with a Packers fan, actually. Introduce yourself and, kind of give your take on the game.
I'm John, hail from north of Milwaukee. Obviously, I'm very happy with the result of the game today. But I could tell you, being looking from a distance, on the other side of the lake, the Lions are a team to be reckoned with. I think we just caught them on a down week, a little letdown from last week, and I don't foresee that type of victory happening in the future.
Really a tale of two different quarterbacks today.
Yeah.
Jared Goff really kind of costing the Lions the game. Meanwhile,
Sure.
Love playing tremendous and really kind of, giving Packers fans some hopes. What are your feelings about, kind of both quarterback situations?
So I think Goff is on the rise. Jordan Love has got some really big shoes to fill. And I think he's feeling kind of the pressure filling those shoes. But I think he felt it at the beginning of the season. I think now he's kind of settling in and kind of getting into his little groove. I mean, we've had it's only 2 good games in a row here within a matter of a couple days. I think I can't say, obviously I can't predict the future, but I don't feel like we're going to have a third Hall of Fame quarterback in a row. I think he's going to be good enough, but again, we can't look into the future at all.
Yeah, off to a good start, following Favre and Rodgers in some extent by, winning his first Thanksgiving game and performing well in it to boot. Yeah. But really, you mentioned you're from Milwaukee. How are you enjoying the city and, really Detroit and Ford Field, or not necessarily Ford Field, but the environment down here in Michigan?
So Detroit, I think the last time we were here was like 18, 20 years ago, visiting my wife's family. There's been a huge difference. You guys have really done a very nice job cleaning up the city from the last time we were here, and it was very welcoming. We watched the parade before the game. Everybody was very welcoming to us, jabbing here and there with wearing the Packer gear and stuff, but we had a great time today.
Yeah, you know what? We thank you very much for your time. We won't thank you for what the Packers did to the Lions, of course, but you know what? We'll be right back in a moment here on the My Michigan TV Detroit Lions fan show right after these messages.
Hey, welcome to Michigan Fun, the show where we check out the state's top festivals and events.
Join host Mike Sukent as he talks with guests from all across Michigan.
How are you doing, Mike? How's everybody in fair festival land out there?
Get the inside scoop on what's happening at festivals and events across the state.
A lot of concerts and free family fun, you name it, and we have it.
Your secret's safe with us. I thought mermaids were fictitious beings.
We got everything at Pirate Festival.
I mean, this is countdown.
Countdown, only a couple of weeks away.
You guys busy there in Grand Haven?
Yeah, just a little bit.
We're hoping the weather is holding. We've called Mother Nature. I don't know if I can do much, but Mother Nature and we have an understanding.
I mean, people are coming to these events and these fairs and these festivals. They just want to have a good time.
It is one of those events that is so much fun.
That will be a lot of fun.
Welcome back to the Lions Fan Show on My Michigan TV and on the free My Michigan TV app. We are live at the Detroit Sports Bar and Grill in downtown Detroit, as we are after every Lions game, talking about the game. And unfortunately today, Matt, not the result the Lions fans were really hoping for, especially after the momentum of the fourth quarter a week ago. You would think, look, Jared Goff and this Lions offense really struggled through 3 quarters last week, but they seemed to turn that corner and play a very effective fourth quarter. Those last 2 drives last week, Jared Goff near perfect this week. Took not just a step backward, but what looked like a couple of steps back.
Yeah, really the problems that ailed them last week slipped into this week as well. The pass rush, just like last week, wasn't there. Unfortunately, last week, we saw it get there at the end of the game to force the safety. This week, we never really saw much of a pass rush for the Lions, and Love had all day to throw. And then Goff, once again, had a horrific turnover problem today.
How much of a factor do you think the timing of this game played into it? It's not easy for the NFL players to play consecutive games week to week on short schedules. The Lions went ahead and they did that. They played on Sunday 2 weeks ago against the Los Angeles Chargers. That's a later game than they would have normally been playing, with that being a 4:15 ball game. Then they come back the next Sunday over. They have a game at home against the Chicago Bears. And then it's a short schedule on a holiday week. There's a lot going on, and that's a lot of football to play. That's a lot of reps. That's a lot of getting banged up over the course of just a few weeks, really a couple weeks. You're playing 3 football games. How much of a factor do you believe that played in to some of the performance today, fatigue being an issue?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of mental fatigue that really came into play with this team today. You know, there's a lot of emotion that goes into today's game, you know, not just it being Thanksgiving, you know, division game, longtime rival with the Packers. I think ultimately, you know, they may have psyched themselves out a little bit and weren't their most focused they could have been today.
Yeah, that being said, you know, you look at Jared Goff's numbers, they weren't as bad on paper as you would think, but the seeing eye test was certainly there. And it's not entirely all on Jared Goff. It's a lot of credit, as we have already said, to the Green Bay Packers rushing attack. They had constant pressure on the Lions' backfield all game long, and I think that's really evident in what we were expecting to see from the Lions after the previous Packers game, where David Montgomery ran all over these Green Bay Packers today. Mont just putting up 71 yards on the ground, and Jahmyr Gibbs had just 54 yards. So the Lions, not only were they shut down in the secondary against the Green Bay Packers, they could not run the football to save their lives either. And that also played a big role in them having an inability to move the football and keep possession during this football game today.
Yeah, really, ultimately, the thing that the Lions want to do the most is come out and run the football. And that allows them to dictate the pace of the game and really control the game going forward from there. And that's ultimately something they couldn't do today, and you saw how that affected not just Goff, but the defense as well. Going forward is going to be interesting to see how Ben Johnson adjusts to that.
A 29-22 loss for the Detroit Lions today at home on Thanksgiving. The losing streak on the holiday continues for the Lions at Ford Field. 29-22 loss today against the Green Bay Packers. They'll take on the New Orleans Saints on the road next weekend. 8-3 is their record, still atop the NFC North. We'll take a break on the Lions Fan Show on My Michigan TV. More of your thoughts on your favorite team, the Detroit Lions, after an unfortunate loss today on Thanksgiving, coming up on My Michigan TV. Welcome back to the Lions Fan Show on My Michigan TV and on the free My Michigan TV app. I'm Tyler Keefe from My Michigan TV at the Detroit Sports Bar and Grill in downtown Detroit. Takara from the team at the Detroit Sports Bar and Grill joins us now to talk about this Lions game. And you came up to us late in this game with your hands in the air, much like we were, saying, what was this today? Didn't look like the Lions we saw in the fourth quarter last week and that we've seen most of the season.
Exactly. So the one thing that I was extremely disappointed with is the fact that we beat Green Bay so bad last time, and this time it was almost like they couldn't get their footing, and it was so weird watching our quarterback being attacked, and nobody's there to protect him, nobody's there to cover him, and it just felt like they could do better. And it was almost like they kind of gave up a little bit.
It's got to sting extra too, because Thanksgiving Day football is so ingrained in the history and the culture of the city of Detroit. You see all these people come out to the city all day long from early in the morning to through this Lions game. Now you're seeing fans really looking kind of dejected as they pass by behind us through Grand Circus Park. That's got to add to the pain of having another Thanksgiving Day loss that they haven't really picked up a win since 2015.
Oh my gosh, and it's so disappointing, and it's almost embarrassing because this year, this team was supposed to be so much different, and we felt the different energy, we felt the different dedication to it, we felt the way they play is different. But today, it just looked like the same old Lions, where we play half a game, and then the other 2 halves of the game, we trying to fumble and trying to figure out what's happening. And it was almost like they were scared. And it was really weird because I wasn't worried about this game at all. After we beat the Bears, especially how we beat them, in the last couple minutes of the game, I just figured, the Lions got it. We'll be fine. I wasn't even concerned about the game. And then this.
Yeah, everybody has those moments where they lapse a little bit and they fall back on some of the progress that they've made, especially in the game of football. But that fourth quarter last week seemed like a turning point for the Lions. They figured it out. They got it back, and they played a really great 15 minutes. And then from the jump today, went right back to where it was. So,
which is weird. I don't understand. It was almost it's like I said, it's like they couldn't get their footing. It was I don't know how to get started, as many field goals as we could have kicked, and we didn't. As many touchdowns as we could have had, and we didn't. It didn't seem like the same Lions team that beat the Falcons. It didn't seem like the same Lions team that beat all these other teams. And I was so disappointed.
And that's a great point too, because when you're being daring, like Dan Campbell and the offensive team was a week ago against the Chicago Bears, going for it on 4th and short, or like they did in Los Angeles against the Chargers, going for it on 4th down and converting on that, you seem like a genius. But when you go for it 5 times on 4th down and you're unsuccessful on all of them, especially one where you had a situation where you could kick a field goal, get the points, make it a manageable 2-score game, make it a 9-point game, that's when those questions come into play. And so for the Detroit Sports Bar and Grill, we love your team here at the Detroit Sports Bar and Grill. We're glad to be with you each and every week on the Lions Fan Show on My Michigan TV. It's a great environment to enjoy a game, and we always are graced by so many people before and after Lions games every single week. But we got to think that regardless of a win or a loss, you're going to have some people coming in here after these games and enjoying a drink and enjoying a beverage. But it's got to be much more fun for you and the staff when it's coming after a victory.
Oh, my gosh, yes. And after a victory, everybody is in a better mood. Everybody is really happy, and more patient. But, today, everybody, I'm just looking at faces, and it just seems so disappointed. And, I get it because I'm disappointed too, especially with this team this year. I just knew that we was going to flip that holiday loss streak, and we didn't, and it just made me really sad.
Yeah, now the wait begins for one more year until the next Thanksgiving Day game, of course, at Ford Field, and hopefully we'll be back here with a lot more sunny things to be talking about next November.
I hope so.
We thank you very much for joining us. Your lasting thoughts from this weekend, what your hopes going forward for this Lions team as they head to New Orleans next week, Chicago the week after that, and then come back here in mid-December.
Okay, well, for next week, hopefully we can actually get our footing. So we have some time, we have some time to relax. We have some time to rest and get better. And so hopefully they'll come back refreshed, and then they can come back as the team that we saw in the beginning of the season as opposed to the team that we saw today.
A 10-day break for the Detroit Lions before they come back home in a few weeks to play at Ford Field. Hopefully those 10 days will go a long way to help get them healthy, get them reset, get their mind off of this loss, and move on and move forward, and hopefully pick up a win next week in the Big Easy. We'll take a break on the My Michigan TV Lions Fan Show. We're live at the Detroit Sports Bar and Grill. Come on down as you're exiting Ford Field or heading out after a full day of festivities celebrating Thanksgiving. We thank you as always for joining us and bringing us into your home on this holiday. Stay with us. The My Michigan TV Lions Fan Show continues after this short break.
My Michigan TV is streaming everywhere on Apple TV, Roku, Fire TV, and more smart TV apps. My Michigan TV is on your phone too. Take us with you wherever you go. Just search for My Michigan TV on your favorite app store or visit mymitv.com. on your TV, on your phone, on the web. All Michigan streaming everywhere. My Michigan TV.
Welcome back to the Lions Fan Show on My Michigan TV and on the free My Michigan TV app. You can always join us on mymichigantv.com each and every week. Before and after Lions football, this is the show where we get your opinions, not our opinions, on the Detroit Lions. That's the most important element of this program. And, of course, we thank you for joining us at the Detroit Sports Bar and Grill in downtown Detroit each and every week. It's been a disappointing week for the Detroit Lions, coming off of a loss today, 29-22 at home against the Green Bay Packers. Another fan with us now at the Detroit Sports Bar and Grill. Introduce yourself and give us your thoughts on today's football game.
Mike McDermott from Mason, Michigan. And what an exciting game. Amazing victory for the Packers. Love to see it. Second time this year we've scored more than 20 points. Just love it.
And
Jordan.
And that's the true difference here is coming into this game. Lions fans very confident. 8-2 coming into this game. The Packers have had their shares of struggles this year. But you as a Packer fan, particularly the way the offense was ran today by Jordan Love and those wide receivers, Jaden Reed had a great game. Christian Watson
showed up today
for over 90 yards and a touchdown. What were your impressions of that young offense today?
Watson was finally showed up, like you said. It was great. Jaden Reed's been around most of the season. He's been doing a great job, but to see Watson show up today was awesome.
And being in this environment, too, for you as a Packers fan, being in the city of Detroit, I know you live in Michigan, and so it's not unfamiliar for you to be around a bunch of Lions fans, but what was this environment like being in downtown Detroit near Ford Field on a Lions game day on Thanksgiving?
I've been doing a number of these from the Silverdome all the way through to this, and it was kind of, I don't know, disappointing to me, but also nice to see more Lions jerseys and shirts in the stadium than Packers jerseys, because traditionally that's kind of been the case. As Packer fans, we can come here to Detroit and we can watch a Packer-Lions game, and there will be upwards of half of the stadium is filled with Packer fans. A little bit different this year. I kind of, for my buddies that are Lions fans, nice to see. Good for them. Good for you guys. It's great. It's nice to have a rivalry.
And from a competitive standpoint, it's always fun when you're beating your opponent, when you're beating one of your rivals. But the Green Bay Packers have a lot of pride, and for good reason too. It's a championship franchise. It's a storied franchise in sports. So having a stronger competitor in your conference now, in your division, in the Detroit Lions, does that make a win like this more special for a Packers fan like you?
It feels good. It feels like an actual victory. Yes. Yeah, it is nice. Yep.
Well, we appreciate you joining us, Mike. Thank you so much for being with us on the Lions Fan Show on My Michigan TV. We want to remind you that you can join us on the Lions Fan Show each and every week here at the Detroit Sports Bar and Grill in downtown Detroit. We're always here before and after every single Lions game, and we want to talk to you, the fans, about the game each and every week. That's what this show is all about, and that's what's so fun for us, for Matt and I and Dave, and even Brooke Allen today with us on our team, for having the ability to talk to fans, get their thoughts on the game. They are the focus of this, and Matt, that really has been put on display today as we saw so many fans, not only here for football, but also here to celebrate the holiday and add on to another chapter of the tradition of a Detroit Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that was one thing that really stood out to me today. It wasn't just, Lions fans here today. It was a lot of, fathers and sons and just whole families here together, just, to have it as a family experience and really sort of either that or a family tradition.
Well, we thank you for bringing us into your home today and having us be part of your Thanksgiving tradition. Look, the Lions may not have gone the way, the Lions game may not have gone the way we were hoping for it to go, but nonetheless, we take it very much in pride that we were able to spend part of your Thanksgiving Day with you, and always invite you to come on back to the Detroit Lions fan show each and every week on My Michigan TV. For our entire team, Jared Clark, Dave Scott, Matt Gattoni, Brooke Allen, I'm Tyler Keefe. Thank you so much. We'll see you very soon, and hopefully, go Lions.